courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome to Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins here. Appreciate you tuning in this week. Today's guest is back by popular demand. I asked him to come back a while back. It's hard to get on his schedule, but he's made it here today and got a lot to talk about. Everybody in the state watching this needs to pay attention. His name is Bill Partridge. He's the Chief of Police of Oxford. And stay where you are and get your pen. Be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issue. Appreciate you tuning in this week. This week's guest has been on here several times, and he's last time he was on here, he was talking about something that's very important to the state of Alabama. So let's get right into it. His name is Bill Partridge. He's the Chief of Police of Oxford, Alabama. Welcome to the show, Chief.
Appreciate you having me back, Ken.
Good to have you back.
Thanks.
In rehearsal, I said, off camera, I said, we are friends. People need to know that. So that don't get you any more money at the bank, but but I do have a lot of respect for my police chief. I live in Oxford. First of all, let's go to last time you were here. We were talking about a law enforcement tag, and it would be available in November. So you got.
I do, Ken. I've got a copy of what it'll look like that we were able to develop earlier in the year. Our good friend Randy Wood with state representatives introduced this into the House in midterm. Usually when things get put into the House in midterm, it doesn't pass, but we were fortunate to get this passed through the House and the Senate, and the governor signed it into legislation. And this is a law enforcement memorial tag. This tag can be purchased by anybody in the state of Alabama who wants to support our law enforcement memorial here in Anniston. This shows that you care about the men and women in blue and brown who serve and protect you every day and would lay their life down for you. This tag will actually go to help fund the memorial being built, and after that, all the money's accumulated will help keep the memorials up there. So it's really a good thing.
That question about it, that shield with the rose in it, is that a universal?
It is. It's the National Law Enforcement Memorials symbol, and one of the reasons why we have that on here is it represents the law enforcement memorial nationally, and we want it to represent the state also. And 90% of the funds from this tag will go to our state memorial, and 10% of the funds of this will go to the National Police Memorial in Washington, D.C., which all of the police officers from the state of Alabama on that wall also.
I just noticed when you said blue and brown, this is the brown, the X.
Well, this is actually supposed to be the state flag behind the background, but the way the Revenue Department has to do it, they have to subdue it so you'll be able to recognize the numbers on the tag.
Yeah, people don't realize that. One good way to see what you're talking about there is look for that elephant on the Alabama tag. You barely can see it because it had to be faded out for the digital reading.
Had to meet certain requirements from Revenue in order to get the tag.
If somebody is driving in Kansas with this tag, someone sees that shield with a rose in it, they recognize that as being universal.
They recognize that as being law enforcement memorial.
All right. That is, people buy those stickers for the I support police, the stickers, $20 a year, whatever, those kind of things. This, now, you don't have to comment on this, but I can guarantee you that if I had that on my car and I'm driving through Louisiana, that a state trooper sees that, might give me a break on a little bit of overage or underage or whatever by seeing that, because unlike the little $20 sticker, they would recognize what that means. Yeah.
And this is also another way that families of fallen officers in the state can keep the memory of their son or daughter alive, and I believe it'll be something special to them, but anybody in the state will be able to buy this.
Well, like when we were working together on the Justin Solar Hub Memorial, a lot of people in the room had no connection to Justin or law enforcement. I don't have any other than I support it, but for me to say I support law enforcement, that's one thing. But these little cards I've had for years that says, I appreciate your service. I've seen a state trooper come to tears by just having that, because it goes one step further, just like this tag. It says, I'm giving you something to remember that I really do support Because you can post something on Facebook, somebody's officer killed in Huntsville or whatever, and everybody, or in Wisconsin, everybody rest in peace, appreciate, and you get a whole bunch of Facebook postings. And this way, the revenue, 90% going for this law enforcement, the Alabama's law enforcement memorial that will be built in Anniston, and 10% going up to the wall. You've been to the one in Washington.
Many times.
Yeah. They've got that long running, and the sad part of it is it gets fuller and fuller every year.
That's right. As of today, 91 police officers have lost their life in the line of duty just this year.
This year,
91 so far. We're hoping that it'll be below 100 for the first time in about 50 years this year. We've got our fingers crossed, but we've still got a month and a half to go, and it's unfortunately the deadly time of year for law enforcement.
Why?
The holidays, more activity. It's just a given.
Would it be? I've heard, talking to some officers, one of the deadliest calls, other than shots fired, is a domestic. Is that?
Domestic.
Am I close there?
You are. Domestic violence calls it's really a hard thing to have to deal with, because you're dealing with a problem that just didn't arise 5 minutes ago. It has an underlying current there that has probably been going on for probably years. And when a police officer gets there, both parties expect him to solve it in 5 minutes, and it can't be done. You can just try to get people appeased at that point in time, and if somebody needs to go to jail, then we have to take them to jail. But that's when the problem starts. You may be mad at that person before the police get there, but when the police tell you you're under arrest, then they want to jump on the police, both of them. So yeah, it's a little more heated. Yeah,
the emotions that fall in that. I've just seen so many, and talking to officers, they say, that's one of them. It may not be the worst, but it's one of the worst calls. And Lord knows Oxford has had its share of calls with the weapons and stuff. And that's one of the things I want to talk about in the second segment about the time of the year that we're facing right now, because there's so many things out there that I don't even think about. Yeah, one of the things, we just come through Veterans Day up in Park up there, and you always, every year you go up there and with some help from a few folks, you get those walls cleaned. They don't get cleaned if you don't do that. And I'm going to throw you a curve. What drives Bill Partridge to do that? That patriotism, or?
Well, Ken, I was brought up in a family that you should serve your community. That's what my family's always tried to do. My grandparents and my parents instilled that in me when I was small, that you should do whatever you can to make your community better. I've always tried to live up to that. One of my biggest regrets in life is that I never joined the military when I got out of high school. I went to school and started in law enforcement when I was 21. Interned a couple of years before that, and for the last 25 years I've tried to serve my community locally. But that's one of my biggest regrets, was not joining the military. But I've tried to make up for that over the last 25 years.
You've done that. That's the difference between talking the talk and walking the walk. I see you doing that, and I've just wondered a lot of times where that comes from. But I bet you also used to sit down at 5 or 6 o'clock and eat as a family, rather than people just coming.
Oh yeah.
That was that back in the day when we learned about patriotism. And
my mama used to get on me because I'd want to watch TV during supper, and that was a no-no.
But we got to take a pause here. Come back. I want to talk more about. We're coming up on the Christmas season and the holidays and the party times, and so let's go to a break. Come back. Going to talk more with Chief Partridge about things that you should know. Welcome back to Veterans Issues, and I do want to say that I appreciate all those folks that watch the show over in Switzerland. That's you, Shania Twain, if you're watching. Hey, girl. And my boots have been under my bed, and that's just a little inside thing, but we do have people that watch the show over in Switzerland and Nigeria and Colombia and places like that. But we're talking with Chief Partridge and of Oxford. Chief, when we're coming up on, as this show is airing, we're right at Thanksgiving time, and families are coming in from out of town. People in town are going out of town, and a lot of people on the road, and party times, and a lot of things served beside punch. That I know y'all are busy on that. So let's address a few of the things around Thanksgiving and Christmas that we need to be aware of?
Well, number one, don't drink and drive.
There you go.
Have a designated driver. It's not worth it. Two, with the upcoming holiday season, people will be buying Christmas gifts, going out of town, going to relatives' residences and so forth, out of state, out of town. Don't post it online. Don't say I'm going to be out of town.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
Don't do that, because not only are you and your friends watching your Facebook and Twitter account, but criminals are too.
Yeah.
And they case and do just as much intel as we do. But if you post that you're going out of town, they know they got free reign at your residence. So don't put on there that you're out of town. If you take a lot of pictures while you're out of town on vacation, post them when you get back, okay? Let your neighbors know you're going to be out of town so they can retrieve your mail or a relative. If you buy expensive gifts, if you buy yourself a new TV set, don't take the box out to the side of the street and leave it for the garbage man to pick up, or the city, because now you have these people who are called scrappers who drive through your neighborhood looking for stuff. Well, some of them's looking for more than just scrap. Criminals drive down the streets also and they see these boxes and they go, well, he just bought him a 70-inch LCD TV. So guess what? They know there's a new one in the house, so they break in and steal it. Anything of electronic items, anything like that, cut the boxes up and place them in your trash. Don't leave the boxes out on the side of the street. It's just little things like that. Set timers for your lights. The biggest thing that I can say is lock your vehicle. Lock your vehicle in your driveway, especially if you're in a shopping center. I was out at the Exchange this weekend and pulled right up beside a vehicle and got out, and the car beside me had a purse completely exposed in the passenger seat with a cell phone sitting on top of it. Well, that's just inviting somebody to pop your window and steal your stuff. So don't leave expensive items, purses. Even if the purse is empty, place it in the trunk. Thief doesn't know it's empty. You end up getting your window busted. It's just little things like that. It's just common sense things.
Last time you was on here, I told you about, I saw your posting about on Facebook about don't put those boxes out by the road, and I had just put a big box out by the road. I couldn't get there fast enough to get that sucker cut up in pieces, but that is something. I mean, if I was a bad guy, we need to think like bad guys. But another thing is, and I was talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas, but one of the things that I've experienced is in the workplace, the company parties, and people who are not normal drinkers, just once or twice a year, they'll go to a party and there's a little something in the punch besides orange juice or whatever, and it hits them more. They don't know how to handle it. So that's the person who gets behind the wheel. I'm okay, because they're not used to, well, this is not enough to get behind the wheel, So would that be somewhere to, I mean, I've seen it in real life.
Yeah.
Is that something?
The best thing to always remember is this. If you plan on drinking when you go out, have someone who's not drive you home. Then there's no doubt and there's no problem.
But a lot of them don't even plan on drinking, and they get there and they want to fit in with the rest of the crowd.
Exactly.
There's only one thing to drink, and it's in that bowl over there. So Sheila's standing around with something in her hands. I'm going to have one, and the next thing you know, I got to drive, and they just don't really think. I don't want to call my husband and tell him I'm too drunk to drive, but I'll make it, Yeah. And I've seen those things firsthand. Now, the Christmas thing you're talking about I made myself some notes, and that was one of the things I saw on a national site somewhere was when you're shopping for Christmas, don't do it all in one day and load your car up.
Spread it out.
You've done everything but tie a ribbon on that car and say everything that you want's inside my car. Yeah, so go shop and make it string out over a few days. If so, don't load your car up to where it's so.
That's right.
It's one big visible
You're
present.
just inviting someone to steal it from you.
And I thought that made a lot of sense. But we say, well, we're going Christmas shopping. It's Black Friday, whatever. So we load our car up like that, and then we're so interested in other things going on around us. But one of the things I saw too was just always be suspect. Be suspicious. Somebody's watching me, waiting to count how long it takes you to open the door, get in to put your purse in the car, whatever. Think how much somebody can run from this distance and grab you and your
just
items.
Be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
And I do want to say one thing. If you live in the city of Oxford and you're going to be out of town, call the police department. Go online to our website, www.oxfordpd.org. Sign up for a residence check while you're gone. An officer 3 times a day will go by there at different times, no routine times, and check your residence while you're gone. And people who live in other cities, if you'll contact your local police department and see if they have that service. Some do, some don't, but we do provide that service, and that's something that we really recommend that our citizens do when they go out of town, is to contact us for that residence check so we can keep a check on their residence also.
Didn't know you did that.
We do that.
You know, I got something that I wouldn't trade for anything, and it's I forgot, it's like under $100. I bought a remote. I put it out on my carport. I can see everything going on, my neighbor's house, my driveway, the street in front of me, and it's a little small 13-inch television. It's in my room where I watch the big TV and watch that. That thing is worth it. It's paid for itself so many times. It's a great investment, Christmas present.
There's so many cheap, really good
Yeah.
electronic systems that are really cheap now that you can buy for your residents to have camera systems.
Yeah, nighttime. This thing got night vision on it.
Absolutely. Most all of them now have, night vision capabilities, infrared.
It's the best money I ever spent. I'd say if somebody wants to give grandma something and have it install it for it, I install it, so that tells you how easy it is. So, now, while I got you here, let me talk to you about this Leon Smith Parkway in front of the Exchange. I see under in the paper there's going to be some changes in there for the light sequencing, for the turn lanes, for this anticipating the new ball fields and sports play.
Probably I would say in about the next 12 months, you'll see construction start on the expansion of Leon Smith Parkway. They'll be adding lanes and turn lanes. They'll be expanding the bridge width to add more lanes to it, and another red light system put up at the new sports complex. And all of those will be synced together just to make traffic flow better. It gets really crowded during the holiday season. They're not going to start that until sometime near next fall, I believe, is when construction will start. But this will definitely improve the traffic flow through the area.
There'll be a traffic light where Bowling Spring Road comes up to.
Yes.
And if I understand the paper right, they're going to leave Bowling Springs as it is.
Bowling Springs will the end of Bowling Springs will be moved down to line up with the entrance to the sports complex, and a traffic signal put up there.
But it won't be blocked while they're doing that.
It will not be blocked while they're doing that.
Okay, that's important to all the people that live up in that area, including myself. But they got the light up down at Friendship and Leon Smith. How's that working?
It's working great, Ken. Traffic accidents down there, I would say, just off the top of my head, is down probably 90%.
Well, I want to thank whoever did that, because it was always a problem for me. Now, I told you I had some things I want to talk about, and you said we'll get those done, but I can tell you that we're not going to get them all done today. Are you hiring at Oxford Police?
We are currently going through another list, or our list of rosters. So if you're wanting a job in law enforcement, please come by Civil Service and pick up an application. I believe they'll be testing probably the end of January, the first part of February. So you need to get your name on that list and get that exam done.
We're running out of time. Doggone, you was right. Got to run. Got to come back when news you can use. Stay where you are. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. Appreciate Chief Partridge coming on doing the show today, and lots of good information there that I hope you'll pay attention to, because we want to talk to you back here in January and not have anything happening to you out on the road or around the shopping center. And when you get ready, when we start next year, when you get ready to buy a tag, I want you to look at what we talked about here today about that law enforcement tag. Look at all the good it will do. Look how it'll look on your car. And what it makes a statement about who you are, and for all those, and if we bring that back up one more time, kids, if we can do that, and that's the tag that we're talking about, folks. If that you don't have a vehicle made that's got a color, or that's a shape or a type vehicle, it wouldn't look good with that on the back of it. So think about that after January when you go down to the tag office, and when you go down to tag office, look for that tag and tell them you want the law enforcement tag. Now, I want to remind you that this time of the year, look for those toys for tots. You don't know how much that helps out there, because they work with the Salvation Army and other agencies to get the names of the kids that need toys or want toys. They know what they want, and I believe we got the phone number up there. But this is the Toys for Tots. is a great program, as is the Salvation Army. So working hand in hand, the kids won't go without a toy. I told somebody that I got a, what's that little thing we have, the dials that you, what is that called, kids? Etch-a-Sketch. I told them we were so poor when I was a kid that I got a hand-me-down Etch-a-Sketch that only had one knob. It just had one knob on it. So think about that. And my mom would say, nice line. But anyhow, I want to give you something else. I'm going to give you a present that you can give that works for me, and I did it on the way to doing the show today. When you're in the line at a fast food place or something, pay it forward. Ask the girl at the guy, whoever at the over the mic, how much the bill is in front of you. Add that. Tell them pay it forward. If you do that, you're going to be blessed. They're going to be blessed, and then hopefully they'll pay it forward for somebody else. I do that a lot, and I get more out of it. And I could tell you stories. Something happened this morning that was started my day. I felt a lot better after I left there. So now Judge Stedham is going to be on the show here back in December. We're going to talk more about what I've been talking about every week, and that's the Veterans Court. It's a successful program, and if you want to be a mentor on that program, let me know, and I'll hook you up with the judge, and you can be a mentor or help with the Veterans Court, because it's a win-win for the county, the cities, and the veteran and the family. So, and now if you're a veteran and you're looking for work, Sonny Miller is still in his office at 256-832-0147, extension 244. 832-0147, extension 244. Now, Sonny will be leaving there in January, retiring, so he's still making good on that. Now, one of my guests on, I guess it's December the 3rd. I don't know, the show will probably air about the 6th, but I'm going to have a fellow on here that's made those canes that got the eagle heads on it. And for that day, Santa's helper is going to be here on the show. So if you got some little ones that like to meet Santa here in a informal setting, that would be a great day to do that. Just have him come here on December the 3rd. TV 24 Studios. I want to say something about WEAC TV 24 for letting us do this every week, and we appreciate it. And I've been doing it a lot of years and hope to do it a lot more. So we're going to have to go. This week's salute goes out to all those who protect and serve. We appreciate you. Here's your salute. See you next week.